Hello, I'm Manueltos, and today I'm going to be sharing with you my opinion on the American presidential debate that occurred on Tuesday. And you might be asking, well, why are you waiting so long to actually give you your opinion? Well, the reason I'm waiting so long is because I want to think things over. I want to examine it in my mind. Sometimes time allows you to more easily put the events in perspective. So I get a perspective. I also get to see other people's opinions and what other people think, and that helps me think about what I want to talk about. But anyway, the debate. All right. Before I start, let me just say that I personally wish that we had a much better pool of candidates to pick from. Of course, internationally, you might say, well, this doesn't really pertain to me if you're living in another country. But however, it sort of does, because the United States is the biggest economy in the world currently, and also has wide-ranging foreign relations throughout the entire world. As such, anything that happens in the upper government of the United States can have worldwide effects. So it's important for people around the world to at least be aware of things that are big that are happening in US politics, especially when we have two candidates who are so different yet the same in different ways. But anyway, let me just say I don't prefer Clinton. I certainly don't. I also don't like Trump either. An example is I don't like either of their character or their policies on many issues. For example, Hillary Clinton. She wants to raise taxes on the rich. Now in the US, the rich already pay a proportionately higher tax than other income groups. But she wants to raise it even more than it already is. Now the problem with raising taxes and just continually raising it like this is that the rich, they don't want to pay this money. She's not going to get Donald Trump to pay this money. What's going to happen is they're going to pass the bill down to other people. So there's a few different ways this happens. They can either pass the bill to the consumers by raising their prices on goods and services, in which case the consumers suffer, or they cut funding to parts of their companies so that their employees suffer. So this will either hurt consumers or workers, or perhaps a mixture of both, because there's just less money to go around. And I suppose this also means that they're probably going to have less money at hand to put into the risky investment in new technologies, because it is a risk, because you never know if the technology will catch hold or not. So if you're working with increasingly limited amounts of money and the government is taxing you and regulating you heavily, you're probably not going to be as likely to take risks with technology as people 100 years ago may have been able to, when the taxes weren't as high and you had people like Thomas Edison and Westinghouse and Tesla and such, who put a lot of money and time into technology that some of it didn't really lead to anything. Especially in Tesla's case, there are some things that he made that today we don't have, and there are also many venture capitalists who are always willing to maybe invest in some of these things. And if taxes on the rich get raised, they're less likely to invest in new technologies. This is probably why we haven't seen any big advancements recently, because of increased taxes. But anyway, let's drop that. Let's go to Donald Trump. Okay, Donald Trump is in favor of trade protectionism. That is, they're going to raise tariffs on imports in order to help American goods compete with foreign goods, such as cheap goods from China specifically. That's specifically one thing that Trump always mentions, it's China. Now, the problem with this is that China still wants to sell their goods in the US. And also, many other countries want to sell their goods in the US because the US is the biggest marketplace for goods in the world. So they all want access to the US. So when the US starts restricting that access, they're going to either go somewhere else or they're going to raise their own tariffs in order to attack American goods. And this will cause worldwide economic problems because the flow of money will not be as free as it once was. And let's say if you want something that's imported, it's going to cost you more money, and in the end, who ends up paying the cost? Of course, the consumer. The consumer always pays the price with trade protectionism. Of course, trade protectionism also was one of the issues that led to the American Civil War. But anyway, my point is trade protectionism should not be used on a great power. Maybe in a minor country, I can see where it might be useful, maybe, but not in a country as large as the United States, who is trading with so many different people, and which is being enriched by this trade. Trade protectionism can only damage economy worldwide, and as such, we may see with either one of these candidates winning an economic recession greater than the one that occurred in 2008 and 2009. But anyway, I digress. Let's get back on track about the debate itself. Okay, so Hillary and Trump, they went in, and the moderator, I think the moderator may have been from MSNBC, don't take my word for that, but it's important to know what the bias is. For example, I just told you my bias. I don't like either candidate, and I think either of their policies would hurt the economy worldwide if they were put through, so I hope that the legislature at least does something to control the damage if either one of them are elected. But anyway, I noticed that the questions, many of them were really focusing around issues that were controversial with Donald Trump. Now, I'm not saying that he didn't deserve it. Of course, you need to be asked tough questions. However, Hillary, they didn't ask her about Benghazi. They didn't ask her about the emails. At least the moderator didn't. And the moderator also didn't ask her about her health. And these are all big things that have been controversial, things that the opposing party has really attacked her on. But he did ask Trump about the potential racism and the Obama birther issue. And other issues that were controversial with Donald Trump. As such, the debate seemed to be, let's just say, it looked like the moderator maybe stacked the deck a little bit, and that's not good in a debate because that means that the debate isn't really fair. Because both candidates have issues that are really controversial, so they both should have been asked the tough questions, but it overwhelmingly happened to Trump. And that is probably one of the reasons why the scientific polls believe that Trump lost. However, some online polls think Trump won, and I'm not surprised with that because, of course, online polls, you can't really vet who takes the polls, so maybe a lot of Trump supporters took the polls. And I know that some parts of the Trump, let's just say, I want to say fan club, but I'm almost compelled to say cult, because of how some of these people act. I mean, you see this guy, he's dressed like an American Continental Army soldier or a Minuteman. I'm not entirely sure on what the terminology is. I saw this on the news a while back, and somebody was asking people questions, and this guy, who's dressed like a soldier from the American Revolutionary War, They ask him about Trump, and he says Trump is love. And I'm just thinking, wow, that is way too far. Some of these people are way too much in love with Donald Trump. But anyway, let's get back on track. So, I think that yes, Hillary certainly was pushing on Trump a bit, especially with the things that have been really laid out against Trump by her party. It was almost like she was reading off of a bullet point list of things that people say about Trump in the Democrat Party. Of course, it wasn't the overly emotional anti-Trump argument where people say, Trump's a racist, Trump's this, Trump's that, without actually giving any evidence. At least she gave examples, which is good. And Donald Trump was attacking her as well. I think he was very aggressive. However, Hillary Clinton, she wasn't backing down, and I think Hillary Clinton was a bit smug in that debate, let's be honest. And yeah, let's be honest, I don't really like people who are smug in that manner. It's just something that really, really bothers me. But I suppose that's life then. Anything else I have to say about politics right now? Oh yes, the Obama birther issue. Of course, Donald Trump really dodged that question multiple times, because it was only recently when he actually made it official that he wasn't really into the Obama birther thing anyway. So for those of you who are not familiar with this issue, when Obama was running, Barack Hussein Obama, was running for president in 2008, Hillary Clinton's campaign, or at least part of her campaign, put out a question on whether Obama was actually born in the United States or not. So if you're familiar with the issue, Barack Hussein Obama Sr., Obama's father, actually comes from Kenya, and Obama has half-brothers in Kenya, etc. But the thing is, this question really is irrelevant. And one might say, well, why is it irrelevant? Doesn't the Constitution say you can't be president if you're not born in the U.S.? Well, it doesn't say you can't be president if you're not born in the U.S. What it says is you can't be president if you're not born a citizen of the U.S., which means that if you are born abroad, you can still be president if you were born a citizen of the U.S. It's just that, of course, everybody that's born in the U.S. is by default a citizen of the U.S. But a great example for this, a great parallel, is Ted Cruz, who was a candidate in the Republican Party. He lost the primary, and now he recently endorsed Trump. A lot of his supporters were upset because of that, because a lot of his supporters were really opposed to Trump, but that's an issue for another time. Anyway, Ted Cruz was born in Canada, but because his, I don't remember whether it was one or both of his parents, he was born a citizen of the U.S. and therefore was eligible to run for president of the U.S. Same thing, not the same thing with Obama. Obama was almost certainly born in Hawaii, and even if he hadn't been born in Hawaii and had been born in Kenya or or Indonesia, because he did live in Indonesia for a while. If he had been born in another country, that's what I'm trying to say, he still would have been born a citizen of the U.S. because his mother is a citizen of the U.S. And therefore, the entire question would have been really pointless and more of a thing to get controversy. Now, of course, Hillary Clinton's campaign started this rumor back in 2008, and Donald Trump, before he actually was into running for president like he is now, he latched onto that rumor and continually went with it. And he did that for a number of years, in fact. And of course, now recently he has disavowed that, and I think that it's not really something that's relevant to the presidency as an issue, that is, because number one, it is pretty stupid that he stuck with it that long, even though it's technically irrelevant. But also, it's not really a policy issue. It's more of a, I think that the Obama may not have had a right to be president. That's what he was saying. And of course, that is not a policy issue, therefore I don't think it's really important. However, the fact that he stuck with it for so long shows that maybe that is a character issue. And I think character is important for being the president of the United States. I think it's one of the reasons why Ronald Reagan was so successful in getting reelected, was because of his character that really helped him outshine the opposition. Same thing with Theodore Roosevelt. He had character, but I'm going to be honest, historically speaking, he also did a number of things that if people found out today, they would be ashamed that he is ranked so high in popularity of presidents, because he was really into eugenics and stuff like that. And also, Richard Nixon. Since we're talking about American presidents, let me talk about Richard Nixon. Richard Nixon, the Watergate scandal. Somebody was wiretapping people, I think it was members of the Democratic Party. Richard Nixon was a Republican, and they told Richard Nixon, and Richard Nixon chose not to, he chose not to make that public, and rather to cover it up. I don't think he was directly involved in instigating the surveillance, but more he was involved in the cover-up. And then it got exposed, and Richard Nixon, of course, he resigned. And one might say, well, that's bad on Richard Nixon, of course. And yes, that is a very bad thing that he did. However, a lot of people forget that John F. Kennedy, who is then seen by the same people who despise Richard Nixon, they see John F. Kennedy as a hero. But John F. Kennedy did exactly the same thing under the counterintelligence program. They were spying on American politicians. They were also spying on Martin Luther King Jr. And as such, I really see that there is a big double standard in history on John F. Kennedy and Richard Nixon, even though they did practically the same thing. So, yeah, it's and of course the counterintelligence program had been around all the way since Franklin Delano Roosevelt was president. So all the presidents up until that point had been doing, maybe perhaps not to the same extent, but something similar. And nowadays, surveillance, it's everywhere in the US. The government is always, of course, recording everything. There's this big facility in Utah where they're collecting a lot of information about people's texts and people's emails and what they do. And of course, that can be very incriminating, as we find out with Hillary Clinton's email scandal, when people can just find your emails and look at them, which is probably why Hillary Clinton tried to destroy the emails. But I suppose that's life. Anyway, I think that's all I've got to say about this issue. If you agree, disagree, please do write in the comments below. If you've got anything to add, please write. If you disliked the video, please do comment as to why you disliked the video. Because I want to make things better. I want to not only make things better as a YouTube channel and making my YouTube channel and my videos better, I also want to become better as a person. So that's always good to want. You always want to get better as a person. So thank you all for, I suppose, listening, because I'm not really putting any video to this. And I will be seeing you all next time on a Will Toast. Over and out.